welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is the award-winning fan show, live and on location, although it's live on Facebook Live. It's pre-recorded right now, and it'll be posted after the fact. We are at the Buzz for the Mark Morris Comedy Showcase that happens every third Monday right here at the Buzz. We've got a great lineup this evening. Michael Glatzmeyer. Of course, Mark Morris is hosting, Luke Severeid, which I'm sure I butchered that last name, and a few others that I don't know yet, but I will get to know because it's always a great lineup. Mark Morris has an eye for talent, and it's going to be a lot of fun this evening. So we're going to start things a little differently tonight with Michael Glatzmeyer as soon as he's done socializing there while Mark Morris stares him down and gives him a dirty look. Oh, we're going to start with Mark Morris. That works. That works great.
The heck with him, I say. The heck with him.
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How are you doing, Richard?
I'm doing good. I'm sad that we missed last month, but we're back and better than ever.
Yeah, I hear you were ill.
I was. I got heat stroke really bad.
Well, just as long as you never let it happen again, I suppose we'll let it go this time.
Well, you know, as much as I do, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy coming here to the point where you're just like, I didn't expect you to come the second or the third time, and now I just figure that if you don't want to come, you'll just let me know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I let all my people know in advance that this is always an opportunity. And I want to thank you once again. As comedians, all we've got is our name.
Yeah.
So the more we get the chance to get that out there, let people know that, hey, there are funny folks that come out here on a regular basis. It just benefits everybody.
You have had some very good shows lately out at, Hogfish as well has been a big hit for you. Notice
the lately there, ladies and gentlemen. What he's saying is, finally, Mark's bringing funny people to other places. No, I do a monthly run of shows that ends here at the Buzz Pizzeria. Friday nights, I'm at the Harvest Moon Restaurant in Rockford.
Yeah.
Saturday nights, I'm at the Hogfish in Coeur d'Alene. Sundays, when school's in session, I'm in Cheney, Washington at Eagles Pub. And what I do is I bring nationally touring comedians and top local talent to feature and headline all those shows. So we don't have any overlap as far as audience.
Yep.
Anywhere around Spokane you happen to be, you can grab a great show. And an even number of times, the headliner and feature from those shows comes here to the Buzz on Monday night, the third Monday of every month. And I'm just fortunate that I know a lot of really funny people.
You really do. I mean, you don't... I guess you kind of know yourself, but you know a lot of funny people, and I don't know if you include yourself in that. I know funny people, so I must be funny myself. Is that how
Oh, no. I never include myself. I'm a realist. I'm mildly entertaining.
That's why you host, right?
That's why I host.
That's why
I host. You know what they say? Those that can't do teach. Those that can't perform produce. That's the way that works.
Those that can't do teach. Those that can't perform produce. And I agree. I can't do sports, so I talk about it. So I guess that's my spin on the saying is I can't sports, so I talk about it a lot. Or comedy. Or pop culture, because the show is growing and expanding. I now have a comedy audience that's excited to hear from you and the rest of the guys that you have on the showcases, and made a lot of really good friends as a result that I'll run into at the Spokane Comedy Club or places like this. So I thank you for that, because it's expanded my guest list Rolodex, which some people, that was a thing that you used to have. It was round, and you put your contacts in it with the name, phone number, and the address before there was just a phone book or a contacts app on your phone.
Wow, that is so old school. You needed a pen for those, ladies and gentlemen. Or a typewriter. Or an old-style printing press where you would set the type and then stamp it with a hammer, I think was... No, you know what? And I got to thank you, because what happens here is it's a snowball. And it starts out that little tiny pebble-sized ball, and by the time we get to the bottom of the hill, it's that huge avalanche-sized ball. And what I'm trying to do is I've got markmorriscomedy.com up and running.
Yep, finally.
I'm trying to get people to check out the website, go through the social media links, like and share the comedy page. The more that stuff builds, then I can do stuff like go to the Coeur d'Alene Casino and say, hey, why aren't we doing a show here once a month? I can go to places around the area and start building. And once I get that next set of venues to add to this string of shows, I get to bring guys like Kermit Apio that opens for Brian Regan all over the world. Yeah. Gabe Rutledge, who is the best comic most people don't know about because he doesn't want to be huge. He has a great thing going in the Northwest that keeps him close to his family. But he's one of the most technically funny comedians I have ever met. Brad Upton.
What does it mean to be a technically funny comedian? Like, your jokes have punchlines? Like, is that what it means to be
No, I mean
funny?
the way that he writes his jokes.
Okay.
Every word is an economy of hilarious. And watching him work is like a workshop for me. It's just amazing.
Because I remember, so Brad Williams was in town last month, and I had him on the show for the second time.
I am jealous. I love Brad.
And he is so funny, but I will catch myself asking, is he funny because he's a tenured comedian, or is he funny strictly because he's a little person? And it's like with Michael Glatzmeyer, is he funny because he's funny, or is he funny because he has a guitar? Like, where's the line?
The
What's real?
answer is yes and yes. What comedians do is we take the ridiculous, the things about us that are obvious, and we make them palatable. It's okay for you to laugh at me when I tell people I've got mad bod. It's like dad bod and mom bod squished together. Because it's true, and it makes it okay for you to laugh at the fat joke. I actually asked Brad Williams one time about a joke I do because I use the word midget.
You wanted to have his blessing.
I wanted to know if it was offensive, and he said, no, it's funny, you better use it. I mean...
when in Rome, I guess.
Yeah, you know, and I'm always one of those people. There are ways to approach jokes. If you're at a comedy show and you're offended by something a comedian said, you're probably there by accident.
Yeah, and the comedian is probably doing their job right.
Hopefully.
That would be
Hopefully.
that would be my take from it, just because I feel like comedy is the last pure form of entertainment, because something will offend someone. And
well,
if that happens, then it's like you've accomplished some small sadistic goal in your life.
We live in a society right now where everybody's looking for a reason to be angry.
Yeah.
And people forget that a lot of times the whole point of comedy is satire.
Yeah.
You know, I will say the offensive thing, not because I believe it, but because it makes it obvious and gets people to look at it.
Speaking of satire in the world today and funny, although it's not very funny because it's real, but Trump announced today the movement of the Space Force, our sixth branch of military. I'm counting down now. This is a very exciting time in my life, because I think next week he's going to come out and say that he's starting the Avengers Initiative, and that, I mean...
Hey, that's hush-hush. That's hush-hush. We don't talk about that yet. No, we have to start the Space Force. Don't you understand? We are reaching that point in time where Starship Troopers is going to have to go after the bugs, and we better be ready.
I thought his inspiration was going to come from Independence Day, but I was like, he's so far behind on the first one and then even the second one, which was terrible. But he's probably like, we got to get this thing going now. We need to move weapons on the moon. He's actually back at the first trilogy at this point, I think. He's in a galaxy far, far away a long, long time ago. And Jar Jar Binks is like... his biggest fan.
Yeah, it's his biggest fan. So, well, you know what? I just saw the lovely Hannah Tilley come in, and the hilarious Hannah Tilley is here.
Hilarious, lovely Hannah Tilley. Okay.
And Michael Glatzmeyer is probably, hopefully, close to getting ready for things. So I'm going to go ahead and have you pause on this, and I'll get one of them over here for you.
Sounds good. Mark Morris.
Thanks, Richard.
If you're in the area, come down to the Buzz Pizzeria, people on Facebook. It's going to be a good time. I promise you that. And we will be back with more after this pause, because there's no commercial. So we're literally going to be right back after this.
Wait, are you videoing this?
Yeah, that's
I would like to apologize to anybody that is actually seeing me on camera. That is
live.
This is not an optical illusion. This is what it really looks like, and I'm just sorry about that. All right. Thanks a lot, Richard.
You too, Mark. Thank you.
It's great.
All right, we are back with Michael Glatzmeyer. He was just telling me about how much he loves the sound of his own voice, which I can't blame him. As someone who does podcasting, it's just, when I play it back, it's like I need to listen to this episode before I go to bed so I can just talk myself to sleep. And usually that's not any sort of shout out to my sexy voice. It's more of like how boring I can be from time to time. So, hey, to each their own. But we're here, Buzz Comedy, and you are doing another set for another Mark Morris showcase. Yours last time was great. I need to have you do a jingle for me for T-shirts because I am now selling fan show shirts, and it worked out so well for the last comedian that you did that
I forgot that I did that. That I sung a song and he sold so many shirts.
Yeah,
after
it was great.
So a few weeks ago, he actually came up to me and he tried to hand me $20. I was like, what is that for? He's like, for helping me sell shirts. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I would never help you sell merch. I'm worried about selling my own merch.
I would never help you do these things.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
For people listening, during my live show, I helped him sell a shirt in the middle of my set through a jingle song about his shirt.
And then you came back to it. It was a callback at the end of the end of your set, and it was hilarious. Just there was like no setup whatsoever, but you're like, this is how I'm going to do this right now, and then this is how I'm going to end this, and it's going to be perfect, and it was.
Yeah, which is difficult because a lot of my set is improvised. So I do talk a lot about being in special ed, about having 4 older brothers and stuff, but a lot of people don't realize that I'm a crowd work comic. 90% of what I do is made up on the spot, which is difficult because I could go up there and have it just not
it's just not work at all.
Be good, which I haven't had yet because when you kind of bring the audience in on it, it's like they start to feel part of the joke. You know what I mean? Like they all start acting like they know each other, and so I haven't had it not work yet.
How well do you handle hecklers, and what is the key to handling a heckler? Because they're not ones that want to be included. They're the ones trying to force themselves to be somehow in part of the show in the spotlight in the wrong way.
Believe it or not, I've only, in the last 6 years of doing comedies, I have had one heckler.
Wow.
Only
impressive.
one. Like, I do a lot of crowd work. But the way when I do my crowd work, it kind of shuts people, like not shuts them down, but it makes it where now they want to be more part of the show instead of
stand out
and make their so here's are you allowed to curse on this?
Yeah.
Well, I want to. It's not even a curse. So I get on stage. And this old lady, when I mean like old, I mean like she's old, and you expect the sweetest things to come out of her. You expect her to like hug you after the show. And I get on stage, I don't say anything yet into the microphone, and out of her mouth she said, "You know what'd be funny? If you go kill yourself." and I'm like, what just happened? And then I am like, okay. Well, this show's going well so far. And then I try to get away from this old lady, and then her next comment's like, "You're not from this planet, are you?" And then I'm like, how? I can't, like, destroy this wonderful old lady. She's old. She deserves to say whatever the hell she wants. She made it past the age that 50% of people died. She can say whatever she wants because she's still living. I just smiled and was like, I like you. I like you.
That's incredible. That old lady kicked the old lady's ass that's in the Jeff Foxworthy joke that says, if your grandmother can tell the state trooper to kiss her ass without taking the Marlboro out of her mouth, you might be a redneck. Like, she beat up that old lady.
Yeah,
that's like a hardcore old lady.
Yeah, she was scary. That's all I gotta say.
Scary.
Like,
in a word, scary.
Yeah, like, I've never seen anything that frightening during a show before in my life. No, it was, that show we did here, though, was fun. All I can remember from that show is, like, the 9 cop cars
kept driving by.
So in the recording on stage, I say there's 9 cop cars. I'm like, whoa! And I was just guessing, and then you can hear somebody lightly going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they count all the way to 9. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a crazy night. It was good overall, though. I think all the comics were really good, and yourself. It was my first time seeing your comedy, and so when it comes to material, since you're so much of a crowd worker and improviser, it's like, do you even work on material? Like, do you have like for a rainy day or a backup plan? This is what I'll go to.
Wow. So I do a lot of improv. I throw away. The reason why improv's so good for me is I throw away probably 98% of what I write. I have 6 journals, and I have 14 minutes of written jokes that I actually tell in my set now. So I have, like, if I told all the stuff I wrote on stage, I have like 3-4 hours, but I tell 13 minutes of it. And I'm constantly throwing away most, but I don't know, it's difficult. Like, I love writing material, I like writing, but there's just something where I feel like people will tell a joke that gets a chuckle, and that doesn't make me feel good at all. You know, people keep telling the same joke that gets a small little chuckle, and I guess I grew up with a kind of mind thought of, wouldn't you rather get something that's going to make them cry, that's going to make them, like, their bellies hurt?
Make them cry.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to make that old lady do that night. I just wanted to make her cry. No, but, I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to, whatever you do, you don't want to leave people going, oh, that was good. You want to leave people going, oh my gosh, I need to look that guy up online so I can see him again. And I think that's what makes my improv great, because when I do improv, people remember that. When people see me singing a made-up song on the spot, they go, oh my gosh, remember that guy who sung a song to our friend Chuck and sat on his lap and Lady the Tramp licorice over him? Yeah, which that is a thing that actually happened.
I know, there was somebody that you sang like happy birthday to at the last show, and it was like one of the best happy birthday songs ever. That I feel like I need to have your phone number so that we can text and get a conversation going, and then when my birthday pops up on Facebook, you can call me and be like, I have a song for you.
Oh yeah, the funny thing is they messaged me before the show, because
right.
remember,
Yeah.
Well, she messaged me and she's like, hey, will you do a song for my friend for his birthday? I said, hey, do you have any money? She said, yeah, and I said, okay, I'll do it. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like as a comic, when you go to a party, people be like, hey, this is my friend. He's a comic. Tell them a joke. That's how I feel like as a musical performer. People are like, hey, he makes up songs. I'm going to bring my friend and force him to sing a happy birthday on stage.
I've never put that kind of pressure on my friends of different talents. And part of me is like happy that I have the kind of like talent that I do, because I'm not going to find myself at a party and have somebody be like, this is my friend who hosts that show. Hey, interview us. Like, that's not going to happen to me.
Like you carry around your podcast equipment everywhere. Like you just have a bag somewhere with 2 microphones and only 1 headset. Like, no, that's good. No, well, that's what I tell people when people go, hey, you're a comic, tell me a joke. And you want to be like, oh, what do you do for a living? You're a cook? Make me food right now, right while we're talking.
That's just rude. They make food all day and they probably hate people. The last thing they want to do is come home and cook or go to a party and cook. But I have recruited friends that said, hey, I'm having this party. We want to barbecue. Would you mind cooking up some of your specialties? That way it's like preempted, you know?
Yeah.
If they just show up and I'm just like, oh, dude, we got the grill right there. Like, you're a whiz. Like, have at it. It's like, no.
Well, like a comedy show, you know? Like if a comedy show's planned out, I'll be there. I'll be there. Yeah. But then after the show, I want to hurry up and get the hell out. You'll see people. It's so funny. I watch it. Now we have the comedy club here in Spokane. We get a lot of famous comics coming to Spokane, and we get a host for them and work with them and feature with them. And we have like people who will come in and people like, oh well, I saw Mark Maron and Mark Maron's an asshole. I tried to talk to him and he brushed me off. I'm like, yeah, he brushed you off because there's 30 other people waiting to shake his hand, spread their germs to his hand, hug him with their beer-rivet breath. They're just disgusting cheese, garlic, beer, popcorn, breath, and you wouldn't say you would want to hurry up. And no, he's not an asshole. He just wants to really go wash his hands right now. That's what he wants to do. He's not an asshole. It's just he needs to only take a picture and then have you move on. So it's yeah, I love it.
Well, I am excited for your set once again tonight, and I know we've got, I think, Hannah Ridley coming up, but Mr. Glatzmeyer, pleasure as always.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on here.
All right, I look forward to laughing. Mark Morris, who is up next, sir?
Miss.
All right, back at the Buzz with Hannah Tilley.
Hey.
First time meeting you. I know Mr. Glatzmeyer, and of course I know Mark.
Yeah.
It's always the funnest conversations are the first time here on location, because I know that a lot of you guys weren't like prepared for it. But
Right.
Here we are at the Buzz. You're going to do a showcase. Is this your first like 15-minute or longer set? Because a lot of you guys come from like open mic environments where it's like 3 minutes.
Yeah, no, I've done this show before. About this time last year.
Oh, okay. About
Yes.
this time last year.
15 minutes or so. I've done a few other longer sets. But yeah.
And how long have you been doing comedy for?
This would be my second year. I started it 2 summers ago in July, I think. So almost 2 years to the T.
So what is your comedy origin story? Was it somebody said, hey, you should be on stage telling your funny stories? Or is it like, I think I could make people laugh for at least 15 to 20 minutes?
Actually, it wasn't really either of those. For me, it was like I'd tried other artistic things. Nothing really stuck.
Other outlets.
Yeah, I
to
tried
express
writing
yourself.
poetry, and it always seemed sappy and dumb. So I was like, this is stupid. And then I tried like drawing, and none of it was good. And I always really liked humorous things when I was a kid, and then as I grew into an adult, got into like humorous shows and humorous books and things like that. And I just liked it, so I decided to start writing jokes. And I just wrote jokes and didn't tell them to anyone for like a year. I just wrote a bunch of jokes, and then
somebody thinks they're finding your journal, and they're like, oh my god, these are jokes, and they're so funny.
Yeah, well, I finally decided to just try an open mic. I really just did it for myself.
That's the best way.
Yeah, I didn't know. I knew it was like kind of funny to me, but more so I did it because it seemed like it'd be fun,
Yeah.
and it has been. So.
Well, and that's the important thing, as long as you're having fun with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
There's people that do things that it almost is like you're looking at them going, I really hope they're having fun, because they don't look like they're having
Right.
fun, and you wonder like why they would put themselves
Yeah.
through that. But I do love that you mentioned the poetry thing. I had been to a poetry slam once or twice before because of this girl that I dated that I thought was just like the greatest thing ever. And
Oh, yeah.
you go to poetry for girls like that.
Oh, of
But a
course.
lot of them had really funny poetry. So
Yeah, there
you,
is
you
funny
mentioned
poetry, yeah.
you tried to express yourself with other outlets. Do you have like funny poems that you do, or have you tried that?
I did write funny poems, but I never performed them.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
gotta have like every poem has like their own little thing, their niche. You gotta perform at least like one poem in each set, because Bo Burnham does it, and some of them
Oh,
they're
yeah, I
out
know that
there,
guy is, yeah.
but they're funny. His haikus always get me, but I think if a person can do a set their way and then be like, so I used to do funny poetry, here's a poem that we're going to end on, and it's like a callback to something you did earlier, would be like the perfect setup.
Yeah, there was a few poems that I like to return to like kind of get a giggle out of. So maybe I could try performing them.
Writing about your exes and all the quirky things they did.
Kind of. I wrote one poem about this guy who was like wearing a straw hat. And I just called it Curtis in the Straw Hat. And it was just like about his hat.
Wow.
So that one was pretty silly, but yeah, I never performed any poetry openly either, because it was always just super dumb. Not that my jokes aren't dumb, but they're supposed to be dumb,
So are you a storyteller?
Oh, no. No, I can't tell a story in real life.
Let alone on stage.
Yeah. No, not a storyteller. I have really short jokes.
Oh, so they're like ones that, like, you're eating the popsicle and it's at the end of the stick and you have to get all the way through it and you're like, oh, there's the punchline?
Yeah,
I get it. That's
pretty
funny.
much, yeah. You're like, this popsicle's okay. I'll just wait till I get to the joke. The joke's also just okay, but whatever. It was fine while it lasted.
The two of
it's
them
like that
combined
kind of joke.
made for a decent experience.
Yeah.
Chalk it
Yeah.
up as a win. So you have shorter jokes.
Yeah.
Sophie Tomey was one that was on here a couple of months ago that was really funny. It seemed
Mm-hmm.
like, so she said that she was a storyteller, but it really was just like her, like, digging up and airing out all the dirty laundry on, like, her friends and family in, like,
Yeah.
a really funny way. So that's why I always ask people, because everybody might categorize themselves a certain way, but then when you actually see it unfold, you're like, I don't know if I would go that far. So you're shorter, more punchline-ish jokes.
Yeah.
So you must get through a lot of them then in, like, a 15-minute span.
I had to go through my jokes today and find 50.
Wow.
For 15 minutes. Yeah. It's a little exhausting doing the shorter jokes, but I can't do it any other way. There's no other jokes I want to write, and they just don't come to me naturally. So I have to do what's natural. So for me, that's 50 one-liners in 15 minutes.
What is your biggest fear on stage then, running out of your jokes before your time is up?
No. Usually I have jokes to spare at the end of the set. But... no, and I have, there's so many, I mean, ranging in, like, I mean, some I don't prefer to tell, but if I do think I'm running out of time, I can just go into the grab bag. But usually I have it more than enough.
Do you have, like, sets of jokes for different crowds and environments? Because I know a lot of comics, no matter what they do, they kind of play to the mood of the crowd and what's getting reactions. Or do you have just like, this is my set?
Yeah, this is my
I'm
set.
gonna burn through it.
Yeah. Yeah, there have been times when it's floundered. Like, nobody gives it, cares. But I just keep going. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have... Some comedians are really talented at being able to do the crowd work and, like, gauging the crowd. My attitude is more like, if you like it and want to listen to it, that's cool. But if you don't, that's fine, too. I really feel that way.
I think that's a good attitude to have.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
I'm definitely not everyone's cup of tea. I might only be, like, 10% of the room's tea.
So if running out of jokes is not your biggest fear on stage, is it having Michael Glatzmeyer sing a song about you? Is that your biggest fear now in this moment?
That would be awesome. Michael's never sung to me before.
I feel like
I wish.
It's like something that you don't wish for. We're talking
I
about
wish
you.
for it.
I just heard my name. Quit talking shit about me on your podcast.
Michael, I said I'd like you to sing me a song.
I asked if her biggest fear was you singing a song about her tonight.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There is a fee for Glatzmeyer
$300.
because that's projected royalties from the song.
Right,
for the
exactly,
next,
yeah.
3 years. All right, so we're doing Mark Morris Comedy Showcase, and you've done several open mics. Have you done any headlines or any other sort of showcases other than you said about a year ago this time? What's been your workload like since?
Oh, yeah. I've done a lot of little shows around Spokane, like the Riddler. I've done quite a few times. I did this a year ago. I did a showcase. I was part of a showcase at the Spokane Comedy Club. I don't know, in November. The first show that I ever did, it was really fun. It was at Terrain. If you know what that is, they do that in like October. It was an outside thing. That was the first show I ever did, and so I feel like I've done kind of a range of things. I don't do things as frequently as I should, but I feel like I've done a range of things.
Have you done a drinking debate? Because I feel like your short jokes would be perfect for that. You get up there and you're just like, your feet smell, and they're like, so anyway, about Trump in the White House, be like, your face looks like someone melted it with a magnifying glass.
Right, yeah. I have done drinking debate. I've done it maybe 4 or 5 times. I'm not very good at it.
Oh, see, I figured you'd be great at it
No.
with just the short jabs, just right there.
I can't. Yeah, you'd think that, but I can't come up with jabs on the spot. I have to like they come to me like just randomly when I'm doing things. But if I'm like forced to come up with jokes, I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, that's tough. It's got to be organic.
It has to be organic. And the last drinking debate I did, my team lost, but it was super fun because we were characters, which was way out of my comfort zone to do a character.
Which is an important thing to do every once in a while. Get out of that comfort zone.
It was really fun, and we lost, but it was really fun. We did like Mad Max characters.
Oh, wow.
We had like real chains, and yeah, it was quite the thing. So I do like the drinking debates, but I'm not good at them.
Well, I guess there's always going to be those strengths and weaknesses. What's the one kind of comedy that you aren't good at that you would like to be? Is it storytelling, like in a more long-winded form?
That'd be fine. I'd be interested in that. I wish that I do really like surreal comedy.
Okay.
And I don't think I can pull it off because I get too giggly. And so that kind of like ruins the surreal. I don't know. I'm sure it could be incorporated, but I have some jokes that are like too abstract that I don't feel like I could pull off.
Okay.
Because
No,
I
that's
don't
fair enough.
think that my personality is like. I'd have to commit to that. Like if you're going to do surreal stuff, I think you'd have to exclusively do that for it to work. And I don't think I could pull that off, but I think that would be pretty neat. There's someone in comedy right now who I really admire. I don't know if I can say, like, if I'm not supposed to say names, but
No, go for it.
his name's Derek Schoonover, and he is awesome at the surreal thing. And he's the only person I've really seen pull it off real well, so I admire him a lot.
Well, that's great stuff. I'm excited to see your set. It was great getting to know you.
Oh, yeah.
So have a great set.
Oh,
It's been a
thank
pleasure.
you. Yeah,
I
same.
look forward to laughing. Mark Morris, who's up next on the chopping block.
Right?
We'll just keep it rolling.
What up? Hello.
How's it going?
I peeked a little bit there. I'm sorry.
I'm Richard.
Hey, Richard. I'm Ryan.
Ryan, nice to meet you.
Ryan McComb. Ryan _McComb on Twitter and Instagram. To all you podcast listeners out there, come check me out. Check out if you're into podcasts. Weak Words Pod. That's my podcast I have. Weak Words Podcast. It's everywhere. Yeah.
Right.
So I'll go now that I plugged. No, what's up? What's up?
It would have been fine. You
Yeah.
know, use me and lose me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know if you're gonna be staying the rest of the time. That'd be awkward. What's up? I saw you doing an interview with Hannah, and I was gonna come interrupt, but I decided that would be rude.
Oh, it's okay. We've had Mark interrupts like half the guys that I'm talking about because we always end up talking a lot of shit about Mark.
Sure.
Like it's inevitable.
You're only human.
Yeah, we can start out complete opposite of going down the Mark Morris comedy
Sure.
road, and then it just turns into Mark Morris, and then he'll come over
Yeah.
and he'll interrupt.
Yeah.
As he
He
looks
is.
forward.
He is a supernova that has to be talked about
Yeah,
because it's blowing up.
we always end up talking shit about you. It's
all good, Mark.
On this.
Talk crap on me, I can take it.
Yeah.
He says he can take it, but he can't.
No, he can't. He cries a lot. Yeah.
Well, the
What-
show is going to start in like 5 minutes, but
Uh-huh.
let's get to know you in that amount of time. How long have you been doing comedy for?
I've been doing comedy for coming up on 5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah.
That might be one of the longer tenures, other than I think Todd Armstrong. who
Yeah.
I talked to a few.
Yeah, no, I
months
should
back.
definitely not be doing shows like this anymore. I should be far beyond this now that I'm 5 years in.
Well, so 5 years in, have you headlined then? Like what places? Anything noteworthy?
I mean,
Blues, stuff
like I've
that?
headlined shitty stuff. Can we cuss on this podcast?
Yeah, go for
okay.
it.
Fucking cool. No, but like my first like headlining like 45 minutes, you know, or like because like people say hour, but like a lot of venues that's 45 minutes because no one wants to listen to where we are in comedy
It's
now.
like a cutoff.
No one wants to listen to an hour. So I did 45 minutes a couple months ago at a bar show in Coeur d'Alene. So I have the time, but not a lot of opportunities to do it.
Okay, and what's your day job then?
I am starting a new day job tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Today was my last day at my old day job at Huppin's electronics store in town.
I know. How things,
Yeah. And so I'm starting a new one tomorrow.
What's the new one?
It's like an Airbnb type company. So I'm going to be like helping people who have questions with their reservations and stuff like that. So
I was gonna say, so I've done Airbnb a handful of times,
Yeah.
and each experience is like a unique one.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just so interesting to me because I wonder, beyond the whole like how you let a complete stranger into your home,
yeah,
the details of it as far as like how does insurance work and
Sure.
something like that,
Sure.
and do you have to have a specific kind of insurance, and if somebody ends up like murdering a family member, like how does that work?
I don't think people have that in mind when they go on Airbnb. If they consider that like a serious possibility, they probably just wouldn't do it. But who knows?
It
It's
probably
something to
does
think
take
about.
a certain personality type to be
How
that
many
open.
family members have you murdered in the Airbnbs you've rented out? You're just wondering how they've reacted on the back end of their dead family member.
No, my whole rule is that when I stay at an Airbnb
Yeah.
or when I ride an Uber, it's when I get that survey back. How'd we do?
Uh-huh.
If I didn't die, 5 stars, man.
5 stars, yeah.
It's a low bar.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. What do you think? Have you gone and looked at your rating in those respective things?
I think I've only gotten like 2 or 3 back, and I was
Yeah.
a good guest because I didn't murder anyone.
Oh,
so
nice.
5 stars.
Good. Yeah, I don't know how to check it specifically, but I got an email from Lyft saying that I have a 5-star rating, so I get 10% off my next ride
Hey,
or
there
whatever
you
it was.
go.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know the ratings went both ways and something
Yeah.
like that. A friend had to tell me about it, and I was
Uh-huh.
like, wow, you can rate a person that rode with you.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's only
I guess
fair.
if they're like a piece of shit, you just
Yeah.
be like, this person's a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know how, I guess, PC you have to be in one of those. Because I've worked a lot of customer service, and if somebody's a jerk, like, we can't say this caller's a jerk. Like, if they're habitual about it,
Sure.
we can't say that in
Sure.
the notes for the next person. But Airbnb, Uber, Lyft might be a little
They
different.
run them, though. Like, I mean, like, everyone knows that it's just some random dude with a car who downloaded the app and now is driving you around, so, a little more lenient with that stuff.
What is your style of comedy?
Clean, for the most part. I mean, like, I do cuss a little bit, but clean, observational, smart humor, like, are 3 of the words I'd use to describe it.
So you work the crowd without a guitar? It's safe to say.
Yeah, I don't use a guitar. I'm not good enough to use a guitar.
I don't even think it's a matter of like being good enough, because a certain company, I mean, he can strum it a little bit, but
Sure.
I think his
Sure.
delivery is the whole thing. I
He
love
does.
Michael Glatzmeyer. I think he's
Uh-huh.
hilarious, though.
He's funny. He's very funny. We worked together a couple times this weekend, and he's a lot more. I think we're about the same level of comedian when you look at us, but he is a lot more flexible and a lot better at dealing with like loud audience members, and he kind of like takes detours a lot better than I do. I get pissed off when people force me into a detour, but
I was going to say that's like one of the wild cards of comedy is that you can have like your set in mind, but you can never account for if the audience is going to try to derail you at some point and how you'll handle
absolutely
that. Because if you have a heckler and it's like noticeable and you get sidetrailed and then you try to like force back into your set, it's almost like kind of awkward to get back into that rhythm. I've noticed with some comics. I don't know if there's like an easy segue to go from like dealing with an audience member back into like what your set was, or if you have to like scrap certain jokes because now that time has been taken off the clock for you.
I don't know. I don't deal with audience members. I just ignore them. I don't like say something rude. If I get to the point where I feel the need to say something, it's usually pretty rude and bad. So
Insult comic? Is that the term
no,
for
but
it?
not even like insult comic implies that you're like telling jokes to the audience, like you're making up a joke about this audience member that's on you, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like no one cares what you have to say. Like this is not you like. But sometimes I don't know if it's just me being lazy or what, but like I just feel like sometimes you just have to give it over to the crowd. Like you're not gonna. We had a show this weekend where this lady was yelling out every opportunity she had a chance. You know, she would notice that her. Yeah. I don't know. She was on some Rockford drugs, but yeah, I just stopped paying attention to her and didn't try to acknowledge her. And if she was gonna say something, because like she would always like you like wait a beat to like have good comedic timing, and she would use that as an opportunity to just like blurt out whatever
That would drive me nuts.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So I don't know how. I know that Glatzmeyer handles it all right, and I know that Hannah has like the shorter jokes, so it's probably quicker for her to get through. But somebody who's got like an actual set, I could see that being like extremely frustrating.
Oh, it's the worst. It's my worst pet peeve.
Have you ever had somebody thrown out like by security or something?
I have had. I've never called them over, but people have been called. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I've never been like, hey, somebody get this, because I'm a feature act, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not my job to blow the thing up. I'm on stage for 20, 25 minutes. It's not my job. If I cause a huge ruckus and all of a sudden this, rather than just being a little loud, this lady's causing a big thing and smashing glasses and throwing I don't want to escalate the problem.
Yeah.
So I'll eat it for 15 minutes or whatever, by the time she's talking, I'll eat it for even my whole set. Because that's something that the host should be handling in between things. It's a reminder, and it's something that the headliner can handle if they feel like it's appropriate. But I don't know. I never want to take things into the woods for the headliner, because that's something you can't reel back in once you light that match. You can't, or that fuse. You can't dump water on it and make it go away.
Yeah, once you're past the point of no return, there is no return for that.
Yep.
Mark, are we about at the time for?
You know what? If you want to do a 5-minute deal, you can have Josh Kiefer.
Okay. Well,
You can absolutely have him. I don't want him anymore. I'm done with him.
Well, okay. Hey.
All right, I'll swap out with Josh. Nice to meet you, man.
Pleasure.
Ryan_McComb on Twitter, Instagram. Once you're done listening to this podcast, go check out Weak Words Podcast. It's everywhere. Check it out, bitch.
Podcast and podcast. Oh, it's okay. I just checked the explicit box on here.
All right.
How you doing? I'm Richard.
Josh.
Nice to meet you, Josh.
Likewise.
So you're here for Mark Morris Comedy Showcase.
I am.
And I take it you're a pretty tenured comic. How long you been doing comedy for?
7 years for me. Oh, shit. I fucked it up.
That's okay.
Sorry, live streamers. You're going to hear that, and I apologize. 7 years, about.
7 years. Okay,
Yeah.
So you got 2 on that gentleman there. And what initially got you into comedy then?
I don't know. I just always liked it. And then, I know we're not supposed to talk about him anymore, but I was listening to the Nerdist, and they was always talking about if you want to do it, just go do it. And so finally I said, fuck it.
Yeah.
I just went and did it. And I watched a buddy of mine do it.
And you're like, that looks easy.
And I was like, I can do that. I can handle that.
Isn't that great? That's inspiration for a lot of things in life from friends,
Right.
Comedy and driving, dating girls. You're just it makes it look easy. I can do that.
Right. I was like, wait a minute. This is what we're talking. This is the level of what we're talking. I can do that.
I can do that totally. So 7 years, you had a friend, and you said, I can do that, and you've been doing it ever since. What kind of headlines have you done? Any place, like House of Blues or anything like that?
No, I am a consummate underachiever. I'm always underselling myself, if that makes sense. There's a lot of comics who are they'll be asked early on, they're like, hey, can you cover 20? And they'll be like, oh, yeah. Well, I can cover 20. And I was always like, I could have talked for 20 minutes, but I didn't want to take a set until I had, a good...
solid 20 minutes.
You know what I mean?
Even a little extra just in case.
Right, just in case, because, I can still remember, the very first time I featured, you got to do, 20 minutes, right? And so I'm thinking, all right, I wrote out my 20 minutes of jokes, and I got done in 12 minutes.
You're just pounding through it.
I didn't get the responses I wanted, so the mental applause breaks, they didn't turn into literal applause breaks. And then I got nervous, so I just powered through them and then I was like, oh fuck. I just ate up all my material, and that was at the time that was all the material. So I've been really nervous to headline, but I am making a push because I figure I've been doing it long enough. I have enough material. I have extra material. It wouldn't just be all the material now to headline.
Yeah, you have some excess that you can
so I can kind of cull it and work it out. But it's comedy is just basically super whoring yourself out. It's just like, you call someone and you're like, hey, I see you run a business. How about you let me set up some microphones in your business and talk to your customers for an hour and a half with my friends? And they're just like, it's a way tougher sell for some reason than karaoke. Like, for whatever reason, karaoke, you can pitch karaoke, and shit goes over real easy.
Yeah, even though like 75%. No, I'm going to say like 85% of the songs sung are terrible.
Right, people do really bad and all that, but it's because everybody gets a shot.
Yeah,
I think, I don't know, it just, people are like, it seems like a business is way more willing to pay a karaoke DJ $150 for a night than they are to pay like a comedy show like $200, which I'm not going to say I don't understand. Like you said, like, yeah, sure, most of those songs are going to be terrible, but it's like a known entity. Whereas when you're dealing with comics on our level, like, I mean, if you're a really avid connoisseur of Spokane comedy, then you've heard of us. But if you don't qualify in that area, then you probably have never heard of us. I mean, Ryan's got a podcast. Michael's actually got an album. Like, we're making headway. But it's, I don't know. I don't want to give people a bad show.
See, and I've never been a person that thought that a person's status or like how well known they are made them funnier. Which is why I never understood why some famous comics have people write jokes for them. It's like, isn't that like 75% of your job is to like write your own material and then perform it? I'm baffled by that.
It's a tough one for me, but like, there's a lot of singers. Very few singers are songwriters, it seems, these days.
Yeah.
They're just performing other people's stuff. And I got to admit, there would be some luxury to that. Like, I was given a joke just recently by Phil Kopczynski. He wrote a brilliant joke, and he's like, hey, do you want this joke? It doesn't really fit with what I'm doing. And I was like, yeah, of course I want that joke. And I say it like it's mine. I'm super, like, I definitely don't credit him when I tell it. I'm not like, oh yeah, just so you guys know, asterisk, that's not mine. I mean, I agree that a big part of this is that, but like, kudos to the people that can do it as just a delivery. Like, just like, like Chris Rock, he's a guy that a lot of people, he gets stuff written for him, but his delivery is so mechanically impeccable that it just doesn't matter. And I don't know, and that's a skill, man.
Like, Tom Segura is one of my favorites, and it's strictly because of, like, his delivery.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's just, he's got it pegged down to a science.
Oh, yeah,
as far
100%.
as what his material works well for him and what he does. Like, it's only stuff that he could say in the way that he does and have it work. So, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. It's just, it's funny because people do make that comparison between, like, a professional singer and performer and a comedian. It's just like, okay, comedians, well, I mean, with the exception of maybe like a Glatzmeyer, aren't up there like singing, trying to be the next like voice kind of thing, And thousands of people that paid a lot of money to see LED lights and pyrotechnics with every song, And for you guys, it's like, I mean, yeah, you could have LED lights and pyro, but
you know what? I freaking would. I've been to a bunch of electronic music, like EDM shows, where they have like laser mapped stages with like really cool intricate lights, and I thought to myself, like, you did a comedy show where you had like laser mapped stage so that the lighting could like produce those effects where you can't really tell, like oh shit. Because I tell some jokes about doing hallucinogenic drugs, and it'd be totally sick if, like, the stage just started, like, oscillating, or, like, spinning. Like, I don't know, that'd be tight, but it's too much effort. It's too much hassle. And you're not going to, like, like, the one time you're headlining a stadium where you have the time to put up the stage and all that, but, like, that wouldn't work here. We're in a pizzeria. I wouldn't have that option.
Fair enough, and we just got the wrap it up.
From
Mark
we did.
Morris. So have a great set.
Hey,
man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I plug something?
What was that?
Can I plug my
plug
thing?
Plug away.
All right. check us out at weedandwhiskey.net. I run a podcast there with Casey Strain.
I think I've seen that on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah,
somewhere,
we
so,
got.
yes.
I mean, just if you like listening to people talk about things, which you clearly do because you're listening to this.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry to promote my shit on your shit, but
No.
thank
man,
you, sir.
Respect.
Have a good one, all right?
You too. All right, guys, that's going to do it from the Buzz Pizzeria for this month's edition of the Mark Morris Monday Comedy Showcase. So we will be back tomorrow. Same fan show time, same fan show place for our brand new, it's Fan Appreciation Week. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, of course, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.